In 2026, some cruise lines are charging 30 to 40% more while quietly cutting food quality, perks, and service, and most people don't realize they booked the wrong one until day 2 on board. Overpriced, crowded, hidden fees. Worth it? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which cruise line is worth your money and which ones people regret booking the most. This ranking isn't based on marketing brochures or sponsored talking points. It's based on real passenger experiences, long-term industry trends, and the patterns cruise lines don't advertise. Here's what actually matters in 2026. Value for money, not just the sticker price. Food quality consistency across ships. Crowd levels versus what you expect when you book. Cabin and overall ship experience. Hidden fees and nickel-and-diming. And most importantly, who the cruise line is actually for. Because there is no best cruise line for everyone. There is only the best cruise line for your travel style. One warning before we start. Booking the wrong cruise line in 2026 is the fastest way to think you hate cruising, when in reality, you just picked the wrong one. If you want honest rankings, smart cruise strategy, and weekly breakdowns that help you avoid expensive mistakes, subscribe now. This channel is built to help you book confidently, not blindly. Now, let's get into the rankings. 7. Looks cheap. Feels expensive later. MSC Cruises. At first glance, MSC Cruises looks like the smartest deal in cruising. The fares are often some of the lowest you'll see when you search Best Cruise Deals 2026. The ships look sleek and modern in photos. Glass elevators. LED ceilings. European design. On paper, it feels like you've discovered a hidden bargain the travel industry doesn't want you to know about. And that's exactly why so many people book it. The price is attractive. Sometimes dramatically lower than competitors sailing similar routes. For budget travelers, especially first-time cruisers, that low fare feels like a win before you even step on board. But here's where the experience can start to shift. MSC has grown fast, very fast, and rapid growth often means full ships. Really full ships. Overcrowded buffet lines. Pool decks where chairs are claimed early and rarely released. Elevators that feel like rush hour. If you're sailing during peak season, especially in the Mediterranean or Caribbean, you may feel the density more than you expected. Then there's the onboard system. MSC operates with a European structure that can feel unfamiliar to North American travelers. Dining rotations, drink packages, specialty options, and service procedures aren't always explained clearly. It's not necessarily bad, it's just different. And when you're on vacation, different can feel stressful. Food and service can also vary significantly by ship and itinerary. Some sailings deliver surprisingly solid meals and attentive service. Others feel inconsistent. One night is excellent. The next night feels rushed. That unpredictability is what frustrates passengers most. This is where people say, I thought cruising was relaxing. Because cruising is supposed to remove decisions, remove stress, remove friction. When guests feel confused or crowded, that expectation cracks. Now, that doesn't mean MSC is terrible. For experienced cruisers who know what they're booking, who care primarily about price and itinerary, it can still be a value play. But if you're expecting polished, seamless, premium service at rock-bottom pricing, expectations and reality may collide. Verdict: budget on paper, stressful in reality. 6. Fun until you want sleep. Carnival Cruise Line. Carnival doesn't pretend to be something it's not. It calls itself the fun ship for a reason. The energy is high. The music is loud. The deck parties are real. And for the right traveler, that atmosphere is exactly what makes it a great cruise line. Carnival does short cruises better than almost anyone. 3 to 5 night sailings out of Florida, Texas, and California are affordable and accessible. It's often the easiest way for someone to try cruising without committing to a long vacation. The vibe is social. It's built for friend groups, bachelor and bachelorette parties, birthday trips, and first-time cruisers who want action over tranquility. There's always something happening: trivia, comedy shows, live music, pool games. You will not be bored. And yes, the pricing is competitive. Base fares are usually lower than premium competitors. Drink packages are popular. Promotions are frequent. For younger travelers or budget-conscious families, that accessibility matters. But here's the trade-off. Carnival ships can be loud. Not just lively loud. Hallways at night. Pool decks during the day. Late night returns to cabins. If you're someone who values quiet mornings and peaceful evenings, the constant activity may wear on you. The party-forward culture can also dominate certain sailings, especially shorter ones. 3- and 4-night cruises often attract a heavier drinking crowd. That's not inherently bad. It's just something many travelers don't anticipate. Food quality also varies significantly by ship. Some vessels deliver solid casual dining and enjoyable main dining experiences. Others feel more hit or miss. It depends heavily on the specific ship and crew at the time. Carnival is not a relaxation-first cruise line. It's an experience-first cruise line. Best for short, fun getaways, not relaxation. 5. Incredible ships, expensive reality. Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean builds the most impressive ships at sea. That's not opinion, it's engineering. Massive vessels packed with surf simulators, zip lines, ice skating rinks, Broadway-style shows, water parks, and neighborhoods within neighborhoods. For families, it's a dream. There is something for every age group. Kids' clubs are strong. Teen spaces are thoughtfully designed. Parents can find adult-only areas while children stay entertained. Few cruise lines match the scale and variety Royal Caribbean delivers. Entertainment is another level. Full theatrical productions, aqua shows, ice shows, live music across multiple venues. The production value feels closer to a resort or theme park than a traditional cruise. But in 2026, the cost equation has shifted. Base fares are higher than they used to be. And once on board, the add-ons can stack quickly. Specialty dining, drink packages, internet, shore excursions, none of it is cheap. The more activities your family wants to experience, the more the final bill grows. Royal Caribbean offers incredible hardware. The ships themselves are unmatched. But the total vacation cost can surprise first-time bookers who assumed the cruise fare covered most of the experience. Families love it, wallets don't. That doesn't mean it isn't worth it. For many families, the value lies in the variety and entertainment density. You're paying for scale, innovation, and nonstop activity. But if you're expecting a budget-friendly cruise just because it's a cruise, Royal Caribbean in 2026 requires a realistic spending plan. Incredible ships. Incredible entertainment. Expensive reality. 4. The quiet comeback. Norwegian Cruise Line. For a while, Norwegian Cruise Line felt stuck in the middle. Not the cheapest. Not the most luxurious. Not the flashiest. Just there. But in 2026, Norwegian is quietly positioning itself as one of the smarter mid-range options in cruising. The biggest reason is flexibility. Norwegian pioneered freestyle cruising, and that concept still matters. No fixed dining times. No required formal nights. More control over how you structure your evenings. For travelers who don't want rigid schedules dictating their vacation, that freedom is valuable. The itineraries have also improved. Norwegian has expanded destination variety and positioned ships in ports that give cruisers more interesting options. Whether it's Europe, Alaska, or the Caribbean, there's been a noticeable effort to compete on route quality, not just ship size. Value-wise, Norwegian sits in a strong middle lane. It's not ultra-budget, but it's often priced below the premium category. When promotions align, especially with bundled perks like drinks or specialty dining credits, it can feel like a strong deal relative to competitors. But here's the part you have to understand. Norwegian still charges for things that many cruisers assume are included. Specialty dining, premium beverages, some onboard experiences. While promotions may advertise free-at-sea style perks, the fine print matters. Taxes, gratuities, and upgraded options can add up. If you walk on board assuming everything is included, you may feel nickel and dimed. If you walk on board knowing exactly what you paid for, the experience feels much smoother. Norwegian in 2026 is not trying to be the loudest or the flashiest. It's trying to be flexible and competitive. Verdict: solid choice if you understand the fees. Before we hit the top 3, here's the mistake almost everyone makes. They choose a cruise line based on brand name, not crowd type. The logo doesn't determine your experience. The people on board do. If you're surrounded by families and you wanted peace, you'll be frustrated. If you're surrounded by retirees and you wanted nightlife, you'll be bored. Cruise satisfaction is less about the ship and more about the demographic mix. And the top 3 cruise lines handle that balance very differently. 3. Best for relaxed, mature cruisers. Princess Cruises. Princess Cruises doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't build roller coasters on its ships. It doesn't market itself as a party brand. And that's exactly why loyal cruisers keep coming back. The atmosphere is calm. Public spaces feel less chaotic. Pool decks aren't dominated by loud games and competitions. Evenings lean toward live music, production shows, and conversations rather than high-energy dance parties. For many travelers, especially experienced cruisers, that balance is refreshing. Princess also excels at itineraries. Alaska, Europe, longer voyages, these are areas where the line consistently performs well. The destination experience often feels as important as the ship itself, which appeals to cruisers who care more about where they're going than how many slides are on board. Service culture is another strength. It may not feel flashy, but it's steady. Consistent dining experiences. Professional staff. A rhythm that feels polished rather than chaotic. This is where people finally relax. Princess isn't trying to impress you with spectacle. It's trying to deliver a reliable, composed vacation. And for mature cruisers, or anyone who values quiet comfort, that reliability matters more than novelty. But it's not for thrill seekers. If you want zip lines, neon-lit nightlife, or non-stop high-volume entertainment, Princess will feel subdued. Younger travelers seeking high-energy atmospheres may find it too calm. Princess doesn't win on excitement. It wins on comfort. 2. The luxury sweet spot. Celebrity cruises. Celebrity cruises comes closer than most to blending mainstream accessibility with premium quality. It doesn't market itself as ultra-luxury, but step on board, and the difference in tone is noticeable. The food is widely regarded as the best in mainstream cruising. Dining venues feel elevated. Presentation is refined. Ingredients feel higher quality. For travelers who prioritize cuisine, Celebrity consistently ranks near the top. The ships themselves are modern and stylish. Clean architectural lines. Sophisticated interiors. A design-forward approach that feels more boutique hotel than floating amusement park. There's an intentional focus on aesthetic and ambience. Celebrity also avoids the chaos that can define family-heavy lines. While families are welcome, the onboard demographic often skews toward couples, professionals, and repeat cruisers who appreciate a quieter, more refined atmosphere. And yet, it doesn't reach ultra-luxury pricing tiers. It sits in that middle ground, more expensive than budget lines, but significantly below true luxury brands. That positioning creates what many consider the best value-to-quality ratio in the industry. For couples, anniversary trips, and travelers who want upscale without extreme pricing, Celebrity hits the mark. Verdict: best balance of quality and comfort. 1. Actually worth it, with one condition. Virgin Voyages. If you strip cruising down to its biggest complaints, hidden fees, overcrowded ships, average buffet food, kids dominating public spaces, Virgin Voyages built its entire model to remove those friction points. And that's why, for the right traveler, it wins in 2026. First, no kids. This alone fundamentally changes the onboard atmosphere. The pool deck feels intentional. The restaurants feel calmer. Even the energy at night feels more curated than chaotic. It's not silent. It's social, but it's adult energy, not spring break energy. Second, tips are included. That may sound small, but psychologically it matters. You're not calculating daily gratuities in the background. You're not mentally adding surprise charges to your final bill. That transparency reduces stress before you even sail. Third, the food. Virgin doesn't rely on a massive central buffet as its core dining experience. Instead, it leans into specialty-style restaurants included in the fare: Korean barbecue, upscale Mexican, steakhouse concepts, vegetarian-forward venues. The variety feels intentional rather than repetitive. For many cruisers, this is the first time they step off a ship saying, the food was actually memorable. Then there's pricing clarity. Wi-Fi is included. Basic beverages are included. Fitness classes are included. You don't board the ship feeling like every experience is waiting to upsell you. In an industry increasingly dependent on add-ons, that model stands out. But here's the condition. Virgin Voyages is not for families. There are no kids clubs because there are no kids. If you're traveling with children, this isn't even an option. It's also not ideal for very traditional cruisers. There are no formal nights. The design is modern and sometimes unconventional. The entertainment style is immersive and contemporary rather than classic Broadway replicas. If you love ballroom dancing, tuxedos, and old-school cruise traditions, this may feel unfamiliar. And while the atmosphere is more controlled than party-focused lines, it still leans social. It's built for adults who want energy without chaos. If you're under 55, hate crowds, and want zero surprises, nothing beats it. Virgin Voyages isn't the cheapest cruise line up front. But when you factor in what's included in the reduced nickel-and-diming on board, the overall value equation shifts dramatically. In a year where many cruise lines are raising fares and trimming inclusions, Virgin's transparent structure feels refreshingly straightforward. Verdict: Best adult cruise value in 2026. If you just want the straight answer, here it is. Best for families, Royal Caribbean. If you're traveling with kids, teens, or a multi-generational group, and you want non-stop activities, massive ships, and entertainment that keeps everyone busy, Royal Caribbean delivers scale and variety better than anyone else. Best for adults, Virgin Voyages. No kids. Transparent pricing. Elevated food. A modern, social atmosphere without feeling chaotic. If you're traveling as a couple or with friends and want an experience designed entirely around adults, this is the strongest overall value. Best luxury value. Celebrity cruises. Refined ships. Consistently strong dining. A calmer onboard environment. It gives you that upscale feel without crossing into ultra-luxury pricing. For many travelers, it's the smartest balance between comfort and cost. Most regret bookings, especially for first-timers, MSC. Not because it's universally bad, but because expectations and reality often don't align. People book based on price, not fit. And when crowd levels, service style, or onboard systems don't match what they imagined, disappointment follows. That's the key theme across all of this. Biggest booking mistake. People don't choose bad cruises, they choose the wrong cruise for who they are. They see a low price and assume all cruise lines deliver the same experience. They book the biggest ship without thinking about the crowd. They choose based on brand recognition instead of atmosphere, demographics, and spending style. And when the experience doesn't match their personality, they blame cruising. Cruising isn't one thing. It's a spectrum. High energy to relaxed. Budget-focused to premium. Family-dominated to adults only. If you match your expectations to the right cruise line, the vacation feels effortless. If you don't, even a perfectly good cruise can feel wrong. The difference between loving cruising and swearing you'll never do it again often comes down to one decision: choosing the right line for you. Now I want to make this personal. Comment your AG plus budget plus departure port, and I'll tell you exactly which cruise line fits you best in 2026. Not the most popular, not the most advertised, the one that actually matches your travel style. And if this breakdown helped you avoid an expensive mistake, make sure you subscribe. I post smart cruise strategy, money-saving tactics, and honest rankings every week, the kind that helps you book confidently instead of guessing. Cruising didn't get worse. People just stopped choosing correctly. Choose correctly, and the experience changes completely.